Oh, hello, everybody, and this is the latest episode of the Green Digi Hub podcast. Today, I'm with Scott, and we're going to talk about a very interesting organization, the PEN Worldwide. Yesterday, I spoke with two students from Graz University, Andreas and I forgot, and Boyan, and they were doing this practice enterprise company. So now today we're gonna talk about this practice enterprise network. That's the abbreviation, right?
Correct. Practice Enterprise Network Worldwide. So that's the PEN Worldwide.
Yeah, great. Can you first tell me what exactly is this organization? I'm gonna confess this is my first time hearing this organization.
Sure. PEN Worldwide, we operate the Practice Enterprise Network, which is a learning by doing methodology and concept. We're students or participants. They can be either in secondary school and universities or for adults that are trying to be reintegrated into the job market so that they can have an experience operating a commercial enterprise. So if you think about a regular standard classroom or a theoretical classroom where you have all the students lined up in desks and then listening to the teacher, so instead of a theoretical classroom, we change it into a practical classroom. So we have the classroom set up in modules, just like in a real office. So you'd have different departments. So you can have the sales and the marketing, the purchasing, the accounting department, your administration department, and so forth. And then a practice enterprise operates just like a real world enterprise. We have all of the same practices and procedures as a real world enterprise. We do real world banking, so they're actually sending payments back and forth. We have this giant, we call it our giant brain, I like to call it. It's a web service and web application. We have a bank, a marketplace that looks just like an Amazon. And the bank, you can actually send real world payments back and forth. So each one of these practice enterprises has their own IBAN and SWIFT and BIC code that follows the actual IBAN, SWIFT, BIC codes of the actual country. So everything that we do, we like to use the word real world. So it's a realistic simulation of the real world and the real EU economy. So one word that I don't like to use is simulated, because when we talk about simulated, we talk about more AI or digital or things like that. We use those kinds of tools in the practice enterprises as an added value. However, nothing that the students are actually doing is simulated. They're doing real world work and really exchanging and cooperating with the students from the other practice enterprises in their home countries or around the world. So just a quick about the numbers. So there's practice enterprises currently in 42 countries, and there's just over 7,000 practice enterprises. So you mentioned yesterday you were speaking with two students from the University of Graz in Austria. Austria, for example, the practice enterprise is mandatory training. So it's actually a mandatory class in every VET school in Austria. So if you ask an Austrian student or an Austrian adult who participated in VET at school, they'll know what the practice enterprise concept is.
Yesterday, yeah, we spoke about they had an interest in sustainability, and I believe their company was related to sustainability. And how can Penn Worldwide contribute to spreading more awareness about building sustainable businesses worldwide?
Well, nowadays, if we talk about 2025 modern ways of doing business, the practice enterprise concept, we always try to be avant-garde or follow the real business world trends. So most practice enterprises worldwide work directly with a real world mentor company, which means that that's a company from the region or the country, and then the practice enterprise is going to actually commercialize the products and services of that real world enterprise. And then real world enterprises nowadays, that's one of the key terms that we see in any of our 42 countries is sustainability and sustainable business practices. And that's a concept that we have been pushing and trying to promote inside the practice enterprise, especially over the last couple of years. So that starts with the young people in their education. We also do competitions and contests that have a specific focus on the SDGs, or Sustainable Development Goals, of the European Commission. In fact, 2 weeks ago, it was EU Entrepreneurship Week,
Mhm.
and we had a social media competition worldwide, and we had 23 countries participate, practice enterprises from 23 countries, and the practice enterprises had to make videos or viral videos that they shared on social media, and we had judges judge them, and they had to discuss 2 to 3 SDGs, or Sustainable Development Goals, that they promote inside their practice enterprise. We actually ran this as a real world contest.
Mhm. And you, how many views do these videos get on social media?
Well, it depends. These videos are done via the practice enterprises themselves and then submitted for the contest. So
Mhm.
not all of these videos that were created a couple weeks ago will have hundreds or thousands of
Yeah.
views. It will be more the winners. So we have real
Yeah.
world judges from the real world of business that come in that help us to judge these competitions. We're going to put the 3 winners online. We've done this now for the past 4 years. So we get a few thousand videos of those top 3 winners that we put online each year. So it's the fun thing for the participants and the students at these practice enterprises is it's not just local at their school and local nationally, but
Mhm.
across the EU and across the real world where they actually see the results of these competitions. And if I give one example, one that we had a couple of weeks ago, if we talk about sustainability, not an EU country, but still very interesting. Looking at one of our top ones was from Indonesia, and the
Mhm.
students in the practice enterprise. Their company is called Biru Bottles, and they're actually doing recycling of plastics, not only as a practice enterprise project and
Mhm.
commercializing that within that practice enterprise concept. They're also doing real world activities in their region about recycling bottles and other plastic products, and then getting local and regional businesses to get involved and promoting recycling programs inside enterprises on a regional level, which is something that takes place a lot. Let's say in the EU, but some of our countries from outside of the EU, these sustainable practices inside businesses are not at the same level as they would
Mhm.
be in some EU countries. So we're able to export some of that EU expertise to our other countries from around the world. So it was really great to see the students actually promoting this real world as well for ideas such as that recycling.
Yeah, and I always ask this question because AI is, a buzzword and everybody talks about it. How has AI changed the way that these practice enterprises teach entrepreneurship? And do you use any specific other digital tools or AI agents or something?
Yeah, interesting tie-in to what I was just talking about with our recent social media competition with the EU Entrepreneurship Week. A lot, if I say more than 50% of these videos created by the practice enterprises and by the students integrated AI. And I think
Hmm.
that's one thing that we have to teach to our young people and to our students that AI is a great tool,
Yeah.
but AI does not replace everything in business, especially when we're looking at marketing. When we're punching in an idea into a prompt and then coming out with a video, it might not necessarily be a video that describes exactly what our final idea is. And also, if we're looking for doing international marketing, there's different ways that we want to do marketing and promotion. If it's in Asia, if it's in Europe, if it's in Latin America, if it's in North America, even if it's subtle variations, the AIs, they don't have that nuance about how to make those types of adjustments. And sometimes you can lose your message if you're doing too much concentration on the AI. So
Mhm.
what we've been promoting for the last 2 years since now it's been, I think, 2 years this week that ChatGPT was launched online. There's so many tools that have come out over the last 2 years. New things that are coming out, even the AIs that are out now are going to be probably obsolete in a year or 2 years. But there's one thing that's going to stay the same, and this is the one thing that we're promoting to our networks that they should be teaching in the practice enterprises and teaching to young people is about how to create prompts. Prompts are the same style or the same focus on the learning and the teaching, no matter what the AI. So if we look at 2 years ago and the first week when ChatGPT came out, and if we look nowadays at hundreds of different AIs that are out there, the one thing that stays constant is that we need to know how to write a proper prompt. And that's something that we should be promoting in our teaching and training, especially for young people, is about how to create and how to write proper prompts, and also how to use prompts on a professional level as well. So
Yeah,
it's really that is the key focus about prompts with AI.
this is a very good idea about the prompts because I've been using AI for building websites, images, videos. The more you get the prompt from the first time, the less money you're gonna spend because every prompt costs credits. So it's very important to be very efficient about it.
Right.
Yeah, do you have any more like interesting examples of practice enterprises that have created green or social projects?
Again, with our Austrian network,
Yeah.
just because Austria, you spoke
Yeah.
with the students from Graz, and this is a very recent event as well. They had an online trade fair. Trade fair is sort of the commercialization of their products and services for their practice enterprises in Austria. And they also invited international practice enterprises to participate. And the key focus on that is it's called Future Trade 2025, and the key is green and digital skills. So this is going to this was announced a few weeks ago. They're actually going to take place with a new version coming up at the beginning of 2026. So the focus on that is experiencing green skills and putting sustainability into practice, strengthening digital skills as well, and about promoting innovation. So these are three key focuses for this online trade fair.
Mhm.
So just reading off the other screen here, because this is really new information and something that we want to participate in, and maybe if this works out, that we can make this a recurring event and then promote this in some of our other national networks as well.
And how can Penn Worldwide inspire students and young entrepreneurs to think not only to create businesses about profits, but just to create real impact and meaningful startups, meaningful ideas?
The best way that the practice enterprise concept can do that is matching students with real world entrepreneurs. So that's the mentorship program where mentor companies, those real world companies, are mentoring and sponsoring and helping to promote the practice enterprises themselves, and that the students can go and find those mentor companies at the beginning of the school year when they're starting up and launching their practice enterprises, and then looking for practice enterprises that would fit with their sustainability goals that they want to integrate into their practice enterprise during the year. So at the start of the year, finding those mentor companies, getting the mentor companies to help them do their business plan, their communication plan, and their marketing plan, all with the focus on making sustainable entrepreneurial models for their practice enterprises.
And which skills would you say would be the most valuable for future entrepreneurs to have when entering a sustainable business?
If we could split that maybe into two parts, one, what companies are looking for for real world skills from graduates when they're entering into the job market. In the past, when we had a physical CV and we used to list, okay, I worked here and I did this and I sold this much and I did this and this. Nowadays, the way of writing CVs and the way of promoting ourselves in a curriculum vitae or in an interview has changed. It's different. So it's not as focused on what we did in our past jobs. Nowadays, it's a lot more focused on what are we able to bring to our next employer. And what we're able to bring to our next employer is not how many things I sold in the last thing, but what skills and competences that I'm going to bring to the company to be able to move the company ahead further. So it's those transversal skills that are really difficult to teach in theoretical classroom. So whether it's practice enterprise or other practical or work-based training, these are places where in the schools and the universities we're able to practice and learn those essential transversal skills, whether it's a networking, team building, time management, a cooperation, and other transversal skills. That's something that can be trained inside the practice enterprise, and also essential for young entrepreneurs as well, that they're going to need these skills, whether they're micro entrepreneurship and they're self-driven business, or if they have employees and they have to manage the employees, they have to be able to manage those transversal skill sets of their employees coming in as well. Mm-hmm. The other side, the essential skills that Practice Enterprise can teach for future entrepreneurs is even down to the basics of the Practice Enterprise with the sales and the purchasing concepts of the commercial side of the Practice Enterprise. So whether you're selling in the Practice Enterprise products or services, whether it's a tourist packages or selling shoes, you're still learning essential life skills by doing that. Because whether we're selling shoes or travel, these are adaptable to the real world. So when you're going into an interview, you're selling a product. The product is yourself. So you're selling yourself to your employer. Or purchasing, when you're purchasing in a practice enterprise and you're negotiating a cost of buying desks to put into your office. Well, you're negotiating, you're learning about how to negotiate. And that can also be transferable to the real world because we're always negotiating in real life. If we're renting a flat, we have to come up with some kind of an agreement. If we're buying or leasing a new or used a car, same thing. We have to know how to negotiate. We have to know how to understand contracts and so forth. So these are real world skills that can be adapted to real life as well.
Mm-hmm. And if you had the chance to give a global challenge to all practice enterprises, what would be it?
Great question. Yeah. I think that the number one thing that we do and that we like to promote, and this is one of the key focuses of the EU 2021 to 2027 skills, is a focus on entrepreneurship and entrepreneurial learning, and specifically about creating an entrepreneurial mindset. This is something that's really difficult to teach, not only in theoretical classrooms, the universities or wherever, but even in work-based or vet environments. So it's about how to create sustainable business plans. And if there's a contest, we've actually run these a few times in the past. There are all kinds of business plan competitions and business case studies out there, however, that focus on how to create and develop an entrepreneurial mindset. I think that's one focus that we need for the next few years that has not yet been integrated enough in all of these sort of different contests and competitions and ways of learning entrepreneurship, whether work-based learning or theoretical learning.
Yeah, well, that's actually what we're also with the Green Digi Hub aiming to create in this community via the podcasts, via lectures, via all kinds of study materials, because really the entrepreneurial mindset is, I think, the basis from which then young entrepreneurs, young people can develop all types of businesses. So thank you for participating. I will upload this episode on YouTube and then on Spotify. I will share it with you. You can share it on your network. It was really fun. It was a really nice conversation. And yeah, hope to see you again.
Yeah, thank you, Victor. And for us from our network, we
Yeah.
look forward to sharing all of the Green DigiHub results and the podcasts and so forth, because I think that these are going to be really interesting for our members, which are national networks, and we'll get them to share those down to the practice enterprise and get the students to get involved and take a look at the outcomes as well.
Yeah, sounds good. Sounds good. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much and see you. Bye
See
bye.
you. Bye bye.
Bye bye.